Okay, so I wanted to make a video giving a complete breakdown of the character record, which includes your abilities, your tactics, your attributes, and your behaviors. This is where the strategy of Dragon Age 3 Inquisition is really borne out and shown. You can see attributes such as strength, dexterity, magic, cunning, willpower, constitution. The typical things you see in RPGs, but it gets deeper with giving you offensive stats, sort of guard damage bonus, armor penetration. You can I'm only level 3. I just entered the hinterland, so a lot of this stuff is still at 0%. That'll change as I progress in the game. Critical chance, main hit damage, offhand damage, bleed on hit, and then heal on kill, and then defensive stats, melee defense, range defense, cold defense, electrical resistance, fire resistance, spirit resistance, guard, armor rating, just a ton of stuff. Your health, max health. And then they even have an other category, shows you your focus, the amount of mana and stamina that you have, combat experience points, and then your level. So, and then at the bottom, you can see sort of the bars showing your core stats and your defenses. So, for instance, when you go to the screen, your inventory, let me go right here. You can pull up your weapons, and if you look down at the bottom, you can see if you see anything in red, that means you're losing. If you equip that, you'd be losing an attack stat probably. You'd be losing an offensive stat. He does more damage with his sword than he's gonna do with a longbow. The round wooden shield, I have that already. I'm waiting to get another shield because that thing looks horrible. And then I have this longsword equipped. So, and it applies to armor as well. You can see I'll get a boost, that green little green bar at the bottom. I'll get a boost in probably my melee resistance. Or I lose in my melee resistance because I have the red bar over in defenses. So I'm definitely not putting that on. But then I have the Defender Cloak, which is what I was given after I shut that opening, that gateway that those demons were getting through. This is what I started with. No longer a mercenary, I've moved up. And you can see my core stats. If I were to put this back on, my core stats would go down. But it says one of my defensive stats would go up though. But I don't have any accessories, no upgrades. These are your crafting materials. I have something called Dawn Lotus and Elf Root. Valuables, schematics for weapons and armor and recipes. I have none of this stuff yet. It's still so much to discover, so much to do. So then you have tactics. These are based on the skills you have unlocked already. And you could either enable it, which of course means you can use the ability, disable it, and prefer it. Standard attacks you want to be preferred. But Carbon, I'm not gonna make anything on him prefer. Well, I mean, I could be in a situation where I'm using another character, but most of the time I'm not. But I'll go ahead and make it preferred anyway. And both of these are already activated, so there's nothing to do there. And it's the same thing for Varric. See, he has long shot and caltrops. You scatter spikes behind you, hurting and slowing down enemies who come after you. And long shot, you fire a powerful single shot that delivers more damage the farther you are from the target. Okay. There is a hunting longbow, but I don't want to give it to him. So let's go back over to this. So I'll just make this preferred for him, so that, you know, he does that typically more than anything else. And then Cassandra, I'll do the same thing with her. Make this preferred, because that does, let me see. It does 200% weapon damage. So this is like her, this is going to be like the main attack she uses. And then Solace, let me see. Barrier, Mind Blast is an AoE attack, and this does ice damage. You send enemy staggering with an explosion of willpower that drives them back and makes them less likely to target you again. I want them all to be preferred, honestly. I wonder if you can do that. Yeah, you can actually. So that's the tactics. Then you have attributes, which I showed already. And now behaviors. So this, I think, expands on tactics. You know, you have tactics, sort of like battle tactics, then you have their behaviors. So healing potion reserve. So like, I don't want him to, when you get down to a certain number of potions, I want that stuff to stay with me. I don't want my allies using up potions when I may need it. You know, if need be, I'll revive them. But this basically is saying party member will not use healing potion if this many or fewer remain. So, and that you can adjust the number up to 8, of course, or all, but I'll leave it at 2. And then healing potion HP threshold. So when the party member's health falls below this threshold, they will attempt to use a healing potion. Again, it just depends on how you want to play. Potion is going to be limited, even though I'm sure that's not the only way you can heal people. They have heals in the spirit subtree, which I'll be showing in a second. So I don't want him 50% is a little too low. Because if you're going to drop below 50% more often than you drop below 20%, you know, so, or even 10%. So I think I'm going to put it at 10 for him. But that 10 may be chancing it because it may get too low. So 20, it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. I think I'll leave it there. And then targeting behavior. So you follow or defend, you know, whoever. You can choose, you can switch the character. Right now I have it on Carbin, my character, the Inquisitor. So he just follows, you know, whoever I'm attacking, he attacks. That's basically what that is. And then if mana stamina falls below this threshold, party member will stop using abilities that require it. So 50 is too high, I think. I think I'll put that on 20 or 30. And I'll change the same thing with her. And then she's following Carbin 2. So it's all pretty much the same thing for all of the characters. And so Yeah. So that's behavior. So the last thing I want to show you are the trees, all of the trees, all of the sub trees and the abilities. This is where the this is what I love about RPGs, like the ability to build your own play style, you know, really any way you want to. And of course, Varric is a rogue, so he has, you know, archery, sabotage, double daggers, subterfuge, which is like sort of like the stealth tree, sabotage. Well, they all kind of have stealthy elements to it. Like, for instance, he has where is it at? It's one of these abilities. Sneak attack. Attacks upon a target's back or flank are much more likely to be killing blows. Okay, that's not the one I was thinking about. Spinning blades. Okay, well, maybe not. Maybe that doesn't have it. I thought I saw something earlier. But I definitely want to send him down sabotage. He has caltrops already. And so I can either max this ability out. It, you know, increases the radius. So instead of 3 meters here, it's going to be 5 meters. That's really all it changes because the speed reduction bonus stays the same. So yeah, your caltrops cover a wider area and impede enemies even more. So I mean, look like it hurt. The worst mistake your enemies can make is to let you see them flinch. Whenever you score a critical hit, you regenerate stamina. And then poisoned weapons. I'm definitely giving him this. You coat your weapons with a deadly toxin, making your every attack poison enemies for a short period of time. Apply, and then let me see with this. Fighting dirty. All of your sunder and poison effects last longer as you make more potent toxins and uglier wounds. Wow. Gives a 25% boost in duration for this and other abilities like it. So infected wounds. Your poison helps your blades and arrows bite deeper. You do more damage with your weapons while poisoned. So this gives a damage bonus, and this gives a duration bonus. So I'm going to just max this out. So I have no more points to spend with Varric. Let me just go down this tree. Explosive toxin. Your poisons curdle the blood of your targets. Enemies that die while poison explode. And a shower of toxic mist. Wow, he is getting this ability. He is definitely getting that ability. And toxic cloud. You unleash a cloud of toxic dust that damages all enemies that remain in the area. I love this tree. Hook and tackle. You hurl a light grappling hook at a target. Then you yank hard as you leap to pull yourself to it. And then throwing blades, you hurl a group of knives at all nearby targets, ripping through their armor and leaving it sundered. And then cheap shot, your critical hits tear through enemy armor, leaving it sundered for a short period of time, for 6 seconds. So that's the subterfuge, or no, that's the sabotage tree. I'm definitely sending him down most of that tree. Or at least putting points into a lot of that tree. And then you have subterfuge, which I get, like I said, is stealth. The stealth tree. This unlocks that ability. Lost in the shadows. You live in the darkness. Entering stealth is now instant and removes all debilitating effects on you. While in stealth, you can even pass through enemies without being detected. Easy to miss. That lowers threat reduction by 25%. Evasion, you know, they can't hit what they can't see. Your deceptive fighting style gives you a chance to dodge enemy attacks, taking no damage. So this basically boosts the dexterity, which is what you need if you want to block, you know, evade and block attacks, dodge attacks, and things like that. So evade You leap away from incoming attacks. Shadow Strike, look, that's a picture of brass knuckles. That's all you need to know. You take your enemy by surprise with an attack they never see coming. If you are in stealth or have not taken damage recently, this attack hits even harder. 400% weapon damage with a 200% damage bonus damage while in stealth. And then ambush while you're in stealth, and shortly after leaving it, your attacks ignore some of your target's armor. And then mercy killing. When their hearts aren't in the fight, it's almost too easy. Your attacks on panicked or sleeping enemies are automatically critical hits. So that increases your cunning. So that's Subterfuge. So now Archery, which is self-explanatory. You have Long Shot, which he already has. Death from above, you do more damage when firing from elevation. Again, tactics. So you know if you unlock this, he does more damage when he's above the enemy. So when you go into that battle map, you can send him, where you want him, so that he can be more effective. First Blood, you've learned to pick apart enemies that are still unwounded and unweary. You do more damage to enemies that are only lightly injured. Explosive Shot, you fire a powerful shot that explodes on impact, damaging enemies around your target. So that has like even AoE effects, or attributes, I mean. Pincushion, if your first arrow doesn't kill them, the 10th might. Each consecutive hit with a bow attack does progressively more damage to the target. Wow. So he has that crossbow. So I'm definitely gonna have to send him down this tree as well as Sabotage. You dive out of trouble and fire a hail of arrows at the enemies that were trying to close with you. And then you can do this after you do the what's that ability? The other ability where he throws the needles down, the caltrops, the spikes. So you can do caltrops, and then you can do leaping, or where is it? Hail of bullets. I thought it was. Okay, leaping shot. There it is. That's just strategy. And then double daggers. This tree obviously requires daggers. 2 hits. This is a flank attack. Twin fangs. 2 hits again. Damage per hit is 200%. With a damage bonus of 200%. Short cooldown time. So this is something that you could see becoming a priority ability or preferred ability. And then you have Dance of Death. It unlocks, it gives you a +3 to your dexterity, and you regain stamina with every kill, the better to continue your assault. And then you have Parry. You quickly block a strike made by your foe, and then counter. So it's a counter attack. And then Unforgiving Chain. Your daggers blur. A dance of deadly pain. Each strike adds to your critical hit chance. After a critical attack, your chain resets as you begin another dance. So is he gonna be dancing? Is he gonna be two-stepping? Like what's going on here, Varric? I don't really care for this tree too much. Bloody Prey. Your strikes cut deeper into your foe whose current health is lower than your own. Useful. And then Spinning Blades. 5 hits. I guess he's twirling around, dancing. And then Death Blow. You lash out hard with swift and deadly skill, and then again against a wounded foe. And then you have Sneak Attack, which unlocks 3 cunning, or gives you +3 in cunning. So there's Rogue. So then you have Warrior. Before I show you Warrior, which is the same for Cassandra and Carbin, I'm going to upgrade Cassandra. Well, actually, yeah, she's the only one I have left to upgrade, so I guess I might as well show you her stuff now too. And it's the same for Carbin. So Carbin, with Carbin, or Carbine, depending on how you want to say it. I already showed you weapon and shields with him, or maybe I didn't. Maybe that was another video. So you have weapon and shield, two-handed weapon, Battlemaster, and Vanguard. I want her to go down the... Let me see. She already has a Vanguard ability. She doesn't have any Battlemaster abilities, but I was honestly going to send Carbin down Vanguard, and I don't want two people, like two characters, me and then another one, having identical abilities. So if I'm going down Vanguard, I want to send her down Battlemaster. And this tree basically gives her buffs that she can use. So this is grappling chain with a hook chain and a lot of muscle. You drag your target into arm's reach. So I'm gonna learn that. So this basically stuns them. Well, it's an attack and a stun. If I doubled down on that, or I could get hamstring. When you attack a target from behind, you leave them slowed. And crippling blows. You know how to take the fight out of your foes. Your critical hits leave enemies weakened. So this lowers their damage for 10 seconds. And it can be stacked. So should I go for the speed reduction or the damage reduction? I'm gonna go with this. So then you have combat roll. You dive and roll to where the battle needs you to be, whether it's escaping from a group or moving to flank an opponent. Coup de grace. You deal more damage against enemies that are stunned or knocked down. Better them than you. And then Horn of Valor. Your war horns blast rings across the battlefield, giving allies the strength to fight harder. And then your war horns blast puts fear into the hearts of your foes, leaving them panicked. Deep reserves. You get your breath back faster than most. When your stamina is very low, it regenerates more than quickly. So that's Battlemaster. Then you have Vanguard, which I said I'm gonna send Carbin down this tree. I don't know about that, because I may want to send him down the two-handed tree. So he has War Cry already. This is just a taunt, an aggro. It aggroes the enemies. Challenge. Your powerful shout carries across the battlefield, taunting a targeted enemy and improving your guard. That's another taunt, another aggro. Then Charging Bull. You slam into your enemies, increasing your guard and knocking them down as you break through their lines. 150% weapon damage. 10% guard per enemy, 8-second cooldown. Guard provides protection from incoming attacks by granting additional health. Guard must be broken before a target will take damage. Trust the Steel. You know how to make the most of your equipment, gaining a bonus to your armor when you have active guard. And then Untouchable Defense. They can't kill what they can't hit. you get a bonus to your maximum guard. It'll cost you. Any foe that attacks you in melee is going to bleed for it, taking a portion of the damage they inflict. And then still unbold. You'd focus on your defensive training, gaining guard for each nearby enemy. And then bodyguard, you accept blows meant for allies, taking a portion of the damage. Cutting words, your party does more damage to taunted targets as you rattle your enemy's nerves and goad them into mistakes that leave them open. Very interesting tree. And then you have two-handed weapons and weapon and shield. So block and slash, flow of battle, pummel strike, guard smasher, bonus damage versus guarded enemies, basically. Earth shaking strike. It does 2 hits, 150% weapon damage per hit in it's an AoE attack in a area of 12 meters, which is very wide, I think. And then clear a path, it gives you a boost in strength. And whirlwind, damage per hit, 70% weapon damage, 24-second cooldown time. So this is a long cooldown time, probably because it does a lot of damage. And then shield breaker, your critical hits crack armor and rend shields, sundering your enemy's armor for a short time. And then you have mighty blow. So let me show you weapon and shield. You have payback strike, turning bolt, warrior's resolve, shield wall, bear mauls the wolves, shield bash, turning the blade, lunge and slash. So I'm going to send Carbin down this tree. I'm not too impressed by it though. I don't think it has enough attacks. I mean, you have shield bash. This prevents you from being flanked. Well, you have shield bash, lunge and slash, and payback strike. So this gives you 20% damage resistance. So any blow you can see, you can turn aside. All damage coming from the front is reduced. So that's basically everything. Well, except for Solace. Solace, you have Spirit, Storm, Inferno, and Winter. So with Spirit, this gives you buffs, like barriers, and there are some healing abilities here too. So here you have barrier, guardian spirit, mind blast, strength of spirits, a bonus to your barrier. Revival. This is why I'm sending him down this tree. The ability to summon spirits to heal fallen allies. And then Life Ward. Spirits now protect your allies for a short time, reducing incoming damage and reviving them if they fall unconscious. That's an awesome ability. Rejuvenating barrier. Mana. It gives you mana regeneration and unlocks some constitution as well. This dispel ability sort of gets rid of ailments that opposing mages may put on you. And then peaceful aura, just lowers your threat, because Solace is a mage. He's not going to have heavy armor, so he wants to lower his threat. threat level. He doesn't want to have a very high threat level. Whereas Cassandra and Carbine, they want to aggro enemies, you know, because they want those attacks. They can take that damage. They can take those blows. So then he has Storm. This is like the Darth Sidious tree. Inferno in winter. So Flash Fire, Flash Point, a lot of flashing. Pyromancer, Fire Mine, Chaotic Focus, Clean Burn, and then Wall of Fire. So you have Wall of Fire, and then you have another ability called Wall of Ice. It basically just puts a flaming or an ice barrier down, and you can use this at the beginning of a battle to really put a line in the sand, so to speak. And when they cross that line, they take damage. So Clean Burn, your spells burn away ambient magic that would otherwise slow down your casting. Chaotic Focus, when you cast a fire spell, the spell consumes half of your current barrier to empower it. The larger the barrier consumed, the greater the bonus to the spell's damage. And then Pyromancer, you have mastered the summoning of fire, increasing your effectiveness when panicking or burning enemies. Fire Mine, you basically put a glyph down. There's another, it's called Frost Mine, I believe. You put a glyph down. If an enemy crosses it, they take damage. 1600% weapon damage. And then Flashpoint, after you land a critical hit, your next spell cast doesn't trigger a cooldown period. Immolate, you unleash a massive explosion, leaving enemies in the area burning in agony. And then Flash Fire, you ignite an enemy with a searing pain and send them fleeing in panic. So like I said, the Winter Tree, you have Wall of Ice, you have Ice Armor, Ice Mine, Winter Stillness, Fade Step, Frost Mastery, and Blizzard. You summon a freezing blizzard to chill and damage enemies caught in the area. This is an AoE. 8 meters. It's not the largest AoE, you know, area of effect. So 75% weapon damage per second though. So this is a little bit of DPS action. This gives you ice armor. Basically, it lowers damage, you know, the damage you take. And increases your willpower as well. I wonder what it looks like though. And then Wall of Ice, like I said before, just like Wall of Fire. Winter Stillness, by standing still, you enter into a meditative state that restores your mana at an enhanced rate and reduces your cooldown times. Ice Mine, I showed you, you know, the other. It's just like Fire Mine. Then you have Frost Master. You have mastered the Calling of Cold, increasing your effectiveness when chilling or freezing targets. Fade Step, you let invisible waves of magic carry you forward, blurring ahead for a short distance. It only lasts 2 seconds. And then he has Winter's Grasp already. And then Mana Surge, your barrier explodes into wild magic when enemies destroy it. The blast freezes all nearby enemies and allows you to cast your next spell without consuming mana. That seems like a very useful ability. But I want to send him down Spirit, which I've already started to do. I gave him Guardian Spirit and Mind Blast. So then you have the final tree that I will be showing, which is Storm, aka Darth Sidious tree, aka Storm from the X-Men tree. So you have Chain Lightning. You unleash a blast of lightning that shocks one target and arcs to nearby enemies. There's a few abilities in this tree that's like that. Stormbringer, Gathering Storm, Lightning Bolt, Static Cage, Static Charge, Conductive Current, and Energy Barrage. You launch a salvo of elemental blasts from your staff that homes in on a target ahead of you. Conductive current, the more magical energy you expend, the more damage your spells do. Static charge, you sheath yourself in lightning while casting spells. Enemies that attempt to interrupt that with attacks are struck by arcs that leave them paralyzed. So don't attack me while I have lightning bolts protecting me. And then you can use lightning bolts to put your enemies in cages, which is what static charge is, or static cage. You trap your enemies inside an electricity field that paralyzes those that try to leave. 9 meters for this AoE attack. You know, again, not that wide, but we're gonna have to see how it plays out, you know, in battle. And then you have lightning bolt, 200% weapon damage. So what didn't I show? You have Stormbringer. The storm comes to your aid even without you calling it. When you are in combat, lightning will periodically strike a random nearby enemy with a radius of 25 meters. Now that is a wide range. That is a wide, that's, I'm gonna have to see if I can get him that ability. So I wanted to send Solace down the Spirit Tree and maybe Infernal, but I don't know. I want one of those barrier attacks from either Infernal or Winter. But like, there's so many abilities that I want these guys to have. So we're basically just gonna have to see how that goes.
Though I cannot guarantee what will happen in the days to come.
So my companions are in the middle of talking. The video is already at 37 minutes long, so stay tuned for part 4, which is still coming soon and is about to drop. This is the beginning of the Hinterlands. This is Dragon Age 3 Inquisition.